You're watching ABC7 Bangor.
From the Great Northwoods to the Rock-on Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, the ranked choice voting tabulation process is officially over. We'll see the results very soon for CD2 and the governor's race. Plus, some changes could be coming to Bar Harbor business landscape. We'll have the details coming up. And the Maine State Moose Lottery is tomorrow. We'll explain how that process works and how you can put your tag in. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop. Thank you for tuning in this morning. We'll have those stories all coming up, and our Callie Warren will be live in studio to deliver those election results. Now for the weather today, you'll see sunny skies with a bit of a chance of rain. Let's start off this morning by getting a first check of our forecast. Devin Biggs joins us now.
Hey, Janessa, thank you very much. On this Friday, we have a small craft advisory that is up until Saturday at around 2 a.m. Continuing to watch for some active surf that will occur until around that time frame as we have a low pressure center continuing to track off towards the north and east. Here's where we currently stand. So we do have some rain tracking off towards the north and east, that counterclockwise rotation. Continuing to send some rain across the northern parts of the state. We'll have some rain moving in our direction today. A few rumbles of thunder not out of the question. Let's zoom things out. There's that large area of low pressure right there. You can see the counterclockwise rotation right there that's tracking away from us. And again, that is going to send some rain and yes, a few rumbles of thunder in our direction today. And Futurecast picking up on that. We may get a few breaks in the clouds today, but yes, a few pop-up thunderstorms possible. We'll keep the precipitation going for a while tonight, and notice through your Saturday, more rain showers and a few rumbles of thunder not out of the question. Gusty winds up to around 30 to 35 miles per hour today. We'll still keep the gusty winds going tonight, and even through parts of tomorrow, more gusty winds on the way. Your hourly forecast moving forward today, here we go. So again, we'll have clouds, opportunities for some showers and a few rumbles of thunder as temperatures warm into the 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Janessa?
All right, thank you, Devin. We'll see you a little later on. Well, first this morning, we got election results at around 1:50 a.m. for the Democratic and Republican gubernatorial nomination, along with Congressional District 2. Our Callie Warren was in Augusta all night long covering those results. Callie, what can you tell us?
Thanks. Well, it certainly has been a long road to get to this point, but we do finally have our results from Maine's primaries, and we know who's going to be on our November ballot. Let's take a look.
So the winner of the primary for Republican governor is Bobby Charles. So the winner of the Democratic primary for governor is Hannah Pingree. So the winner of the Democratic primary for representative to Congress in District 2 is Matthew Dunlap.
We now know for sure that it will be Republican Bobby Charles, Democrat Hannah Pingree, and Rick Bennett on the independent side of things vying for the Blaine House in November. Matt Dunlap will be up against Paul LePage for Maine's 2nd congressional district. LePage ran unopposed during that primary. We got those results in around 2 this morning. Certainly a long night for those tabulating those ballots and a few bumps in the road along the way. We had everything from technological difficulties to counting errors delaying those results. And then, as luck would have it, a paper jam in the printer right when those results were about to be announced. However, we certainly got there in the end, and I spoke with Chief Deputy Secretary of State Kate McBrien for her thoughts on how the primaries went.
It is so important that every single vote be recognized, be counted, and be part of this ranked choice tabulation process. And so that's what we did, is we made sure every vote was there, everyone had their voice heard, and it does take a bit longer, but the results mean everything is accurate.
Janessa, I think I can speak for most Maine voters when I say we are very happy to see a conclusion to the results of this primary. It took 5 days of tabulation and some change, but we got there in the end. Campaigning for the winning candidates will certainly kick up as we inch closer to November. Live in studio, I'm Callie Warren for ABC7 Fox 22 News. Janessa?
All right, well, thank you, Callie, and I would have to agree. I think many folks are happy to see that those results are finally in. Meanwhile, while primary voting concluded last Tuesday, of course, the ranked choice process has stretched all the way into this week. Now that we have the results, our Grace Blanchard has more on how we got there and what comes next.
A string of close contests has defined this primary cycle. In the Democratic race for governor, no candidate reached the 50% threshold on election night needed to avoid ranked choice counting. Dr. Nirav Shah held a tight lead with 26.8% of the votes, followed by Hannah Pingree, Troy Jackson, and Shenna Bellows, all in the 20 percentile. The Republican race had more of a clear leader, with Bobby Charles holding nearly 38% of the votes, followed by Ben Midgley and Jonathan Bush, who were both around 20%. However, that contest was also sent to ranked choice tabulation after no candidate secured a clear majority. The nominees of those races will battle it out for the Blaine House this November. In the closely contested 2nd Congressional District race, the Democrats were separated by just a few percentage points following election night. Joe Baldacci held a lead with 31.6% of the votes, closely followed by Matt Dunlap at 29.2% and Jordan Wood at 28.9%. Since the election, Democratic candidate Paige Loud has conceded, leaving Baldacci, Dunlap, and Wood hoping for a chance to face off against former Governor Paul LePage, the uncontested Republican nominee. Election officials have been working to produce results, but work is still ahead, as the Secretary of State's office has already announced 3 recounts are scheduled for next week for multiple legislative races, and more could be coming.
In ranked choice voting races, candidates who receive one of the top 3 rankings at the end of the penultimate round of counting may request a recount. Recounts must be filed with the Secretary of State within 5 business days of the results being announced. In studio, Grace Blanchard for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
And as we just went over, those results are now in after a long, tedious process. To take a look at those results for yourself, you can head to our Facebook page at Fox ABC Maine or click on the election results drop-down on our website at foxbangor.com. Well, as this process was unfolding all day yesterday, Republican gubernatorial frontrunner Bobby Charles addressed the media, saying the ranked choice system is impractical and unconstitutional.
In short, the RCV system has led to chaos, confusion, distrust, and now, in the most recent primary election, lots of unnecessary nail-biting, particularly on the Democrat side, for a week and a half of uncertainty. Bluntly, Maine voters deserve better. This system just does not work.
Well, Charles vowed that if elected governor, he would do away with ranked choice voting. Well, in other news, a Washington County woman wants her murder trial moved to another location. Kaylee Brackett was convicted of murder in the death of 43-year-old Kimberly Neptune, who was found dead in her home with nearly 500 stab wounds back in April of 2022. Maine's highest court vacated that conviction, and a new trial was then ordered. Brackett's lawyer says that pretrial publicity and rumors in Washington County would make it impossible for Brackett to get a fair trial there.
In this case, the level of ill will and vindictiveness against Kaylee by members of the potential jury pool in Washington County is frankly over the top. The exhibits in this case demonstrate that from even the days prior to Kaylee's arrest, community members were pointing fingers, spreading false accusations.
Assistant Attorney General Katie Sibley says that the publicity for this case was no different from any other murder case in Maine, and there is no need to move the trial. The judge is taking the matter under advisement and will be making a decision at a later date. Meanwhile, a Clinton man has pleaded guilty to murder in connection with a fatal shooting in Waterville last year. 53-year-old Richard Hatt had been accused of shooting a man to death in a Waterville parking lot in July of 2025. He was arrested following the shooting on Highwood Street. The victim, 47-year-old Stephen Killam of Fairfield, was found deceased inside a vehicle at a nursing home parking lot. According to the Attorney General's office, Hatt will be sentenced on July 10th. Well, last week, Senator Angus King worked with members of the Armed Services Committee to draft the National Defense Authorization Act. It passed the committee with bipartisan support, and the final bill was just released publicly. King says that the bill funds the country's national security assets around the world, including here in Maine. The bill contains authorization for an additional destroyer. The president's budget only funded one. Bath Iron Works will have the chance to compete for the contract to build that ship. The president's budget also contained a proposal to build warships in shipyards in Korea and in Japan. The National Defense Bill does away with that provision and limits overseas building to auxiliary apparatus like cargo ships or tankers, but not warships like the ones built here in Maine. Other aspects of the bill will also benefit Maine.
One of the most important things in the bill is a significant pay raise for our troops, which they deserve. And I think that was one of the most important provisions in the bill. Continued support for Ukraine is in the bill. Many other provisions that benefit not only the national defense and security of the United States, but also provisions that will be beneficial to Maine.
Well, there's also support for a ground radar system at the former Loring Air Force Base, bringing additional economic development to Aroostook County. King says that there's also research funding for the University of Maine and other Maine-centric provisions. Well, for some, moose hunting in Maine is a family affair, and it all starts with the famous Moose Lottery. Our Doug Banks has what you need to know ahead of this Saturday's big event.
The Maine Moose Permit Lottery is a time-honored tradition, combining the excitement of being surrounded by fellow outdoor enthusiasts. And if you're lucky, booking you a one-way ticket to a lasting memory.
It's extremely popular, in-state and out-of-state as well.
The 45th Annual Moose Lottery is being held at the Acton Fairgrounds in Acton between this coming Friday and Sunday. Starting at 1 p.m. on Saturday, the names of the lottery winners will be read.
And it's probably going to take several hours.
And that's because 75,000 people this year applied for a chance to secure one of only 3,700 moose hunting permits.
If you're not able to, come to the fairgrounds, we'll have the results posted on our website by 6 p.m. that night.
For those who do plan on attending, there'll be things to do in the meantime.
It's going to be a midway there with rides for kids, food vendors, games.
In the lottery's 45-year history, one thing has changed while another has remained constant. What's changed is that the names are no longer drawn out of a chicken wire tumbler at the Augusta Armory.
And back then it was only 1,000 names. The moose population has grown since then. The popularity of the hunt has grown as well.
What hasn't changed is the feeling of securing a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. A moment described best by Gary Farrell, who spoke with us back in 2023 after winning a permit.
It's been a long time coming. I've put in nearly 20 years and never drawn my own permit, so it's really nice.
Doug Banks reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, the time now is 6:12. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, the Friendship Cottage in Blue Hill took ownership of the property. We'll have the latest on that. But first, another look at the forecast. For today, we'll have partly cloudy skies with a chance of rain, temperatures in the mid-70s. Overnight tonight, partly cloudy with yet another chance of rain, temperatures in the mid-50s. And for tomorrow, partly cloudy skies with a chance of thunder showers, highs around 69. We'll be right back.
Seasons Lounge and Banquet Center. We're just one block from Hollywood Slots in Bangor and are now under new management with a new chef and a completely redesigned menu. Come grab a drink and enjoy a meal with us. Fans, food, fun. Seasons.
Fathers play a special role in people's lives. And this Father's Day, ABC 7 and Fox 22 want to help you show your dad how much he is appreciated with a special Father's Day giveaway. Register to win prizes for some great local businesses. Our special Father's Day promotion is brought to you by Diversified Inc. in Bangor, Brown Appliance and Mattress in Ellsworth, Herman Meadows Golf Club. All you have to do is go to our contest page on foxbangor.com and register to win.
A bad job for someone who counts slow.
A stripper, Steve.
Wait a minute! 31, 32.
Weekdays at 9 on ABC 7.
Seasons Lounge and Banquet Center. We're just one block from Hollywood Slots in Bangor and are now under new management with a new chef and a completely redesigned menu. Come grab a drink and enjoy a meal with us. Fans, food, fun. Seasons.
Lying, cheating,
Stealing.
I don't believe a word coming out of your mouth. Shoving and punching
And fighting.
At that moment, it was on. You're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy.
On ABC 7.
Welcome back, everyone. While some changes could be coming for the Bar Harbor business landscape, there could be a cap implemented to limit any future lodging built in Bar Harbor. The town's planning board is proposing a 12-unit cap, primarily in the area of Main Street and Cottage Street, meaning that no new hotels with more than 12 units could be built in that specific area. Planning Director Michelle Gagnon told board members a 30-unit cap in those zones might be a better option.
The economic driver of Bar Harbor is lodging. A lot of other activities, or I say businesses, are basically in the coattail and benefiting from the lodging benefit.
A lodging moratorium that went into effect in November of 2024 is set to expire this coming July. There will be a public hearing on the proposed changes on July 1st. A Down East community has rallied to preserve a resource that some say is most valuable residents rely on. Our Alex Schley tells us how a community-wide effort secured the future of the Friendship Cottage.
Earlier this month, the Friendship Cottage officially took ownership of its home in Blue Hill. The cottage opened nearly 2 decades ago and remains the only respite care program in Hancock County. For years, the program operated under Down East Community Partners. But last fall, the organization collapsed following financial and operational challenges. While the program itself was taken over by the Aroostook County Action Program, the future of the building remained uncertain as liens were filed against the property.
We learned in the middle of October that we were going to, that they were going to put the building that houses Friendship Cottage on the market.
Supporters had less than 6 months to raise $700,000.
I know I was worried. Without this, I wouldn't have any way of getting around, getting out and meeting people. I would be stuck at home, and that's not good. I can only talk to my cat so long.
So the group began fundraising.
We raised all the money in pledges and actual donations by the middle of April, and we had put an offer on the property in March, early March, and we closed on the property on June the 5th.
Now, people like Janet, who has been coming to the Friendship Cottage for 16 years, can continue to benefit from the program for years to come.
I wouldn't know what to do without it.
And officials say safeguards are now in place to ensure the property continues serving the community for generations.
We have a clause in there, a covenant, that if for any reason that they don't have the program anymore, that this building will be kept for the people of Blue Hill.
In Blue Hill, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
That's amazing that they were able to preserve that building and make it so that everyone can still go there. Well, the time now is 6:18. After the break, new details are emerging about an alleged plot to target the UFC fight at the White House. More on that to come. Plus, severe storms targeting multiple parts of the nation. We'll learn all about it as Good Morning Maine continues.
Carpets looking tired, stained, or just plain dirty? It's time to call the pros. At C&R Carpet Cleaning, we use deep steam technology to remove dirt, odors, pet hair, and allergens fast. Fresh, clean carpets, healthier home. That's the C&R promise. Visit our Facebook page for a free estimate or call us today, 631-7380. Step into clean with C&R Carpet Cleaning.
Look at this guy.
What? Yo, sick car, man. Hey, what's going on, bro?
Can I charge my phone? Ooh. Hey, can I get the password for the Wi-Fi?
Yo, let's change the music.
Bose? Dang. Have I got something in my teeth? Oh.
Loaded with features for everyone.
Nice, man.
How it should be. The Hyundai Elantra.
Right now, lease a Hyundai Elantra SE for $119 a month or get $2,000 customer cash. Hurry in.
Graham Plattner blamed women for getting raped. Who says something like that? Plattner said women should take some responsibility for themselves and not get so effed up they wind up having sex with someone they don't mean to. What's wrong with this guy?
Plattner said to avoid rape, women should act like an adult for F's sake. He's an awful person.
Graham Plattner is dangerous.
I would never vote for Graham Plattner.
Pine Tree Results PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Now to the severe weather and the threat of more flash flooding in the southeast. Louisiana is under a state of emergency after some areas got more than a foot of rain in one single day. And more rain is on the way, while a big cleanup is underway in the Midwest. Sophie Flay with more.
This morning, severe weather targeting millions from the south to the northeast. Along the Gulf Coast, remnants of Tropical Storm Arthur unleashing heavy rain and life-threatening flash flooding. In Stone County, Mississippi, the storm's bringing down this massive tree, knocking the storage trailer on its side and turning parking lots into rivers. One SUV left partially submerged. Officials say a road crew member in Franklin County was killed while assisting with storm cleanup operations. In neighboring Louisiana, a state of emergency declared. Outside New Orleans, drone video shows neighborhoods inundated with high water, vehicles stranded along flooded roads, some drivers forced to push their own cars. And at least 2 people were hurt after a likely tornado slammed the area. Meanwhile, in the Midwest, residents are cleaning up after a separate system spawned multiple twisters. Homes and businesses flattened in parts of Illinois, debris scattered across acres of land. One man capturing the moments a tornado ripped through and leveled his home in Effingham.
Oh my gosh, what in the world just happened?
And in Gosport, Indiana, a resident thankful to be alive after he and his wife took shelter in their basement as 130-mile-per-hour winds moved through, the roof of his home blown off.
I moved here in 1957. And we never moved. I just thank the Lord that we got in the basement when I was hurt.
And now the threat shifting east with strong storms toppling trees and causing damage in parts of upstate New York. Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
The time now is 6:21. Let's get a full look at our forecast. Meteorologist Devin Biggs is in with the latest.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. There's that small craft advisory again up until around Saturday at 2 a.m. Continuing to watch for some active surf that will be possible until around that time frame again at around 2 a.m. when this expires. Wave heights definitely active right now at around 4 to 6 feet according to the buoys, and it does span not only to the north and east from there, but also farther out towards sea at around 3 to 7 feet according to the buoys farther out towards sea. So definitely a mess out there farther out toward the ocean this morning. Water temperature is definitely getting stirred up in the 50s this morning, even 40s and 50s being noted. And of course, with the active surf, we're definitely stirring up the ocean at this moment in time. On land, we have that large area of low pressure that's causing some rainfall to occur. The lightning tracker is on, not seeing much lighting with this at this moment in time. We are going to get some more rain showers moving through today. It will be rather hit and miss in nature, but of course, some sunshine will be peeking out at times, a few showers, maybe a rumble of thunder today, rotating through with this large area low pressure that will be tracking off towards the north and east. We'll have some more showers and a few rumbles of thunder possible as we head towards tomorrow. Here's Futurecast right here. Again, some showers and a few rumbles of thunder today. Notice a few breaks in the clouds. We'll see a lot of the activity start to taper off temporarily overnight. Still a few showers and a rumble of thunder here or there, not out of the question tonight. The precipitation picks up again as we head towards your Saturday, so another dreary day, but by Saturday night we'll catch a little bit of a break, but again, a hit and miss shower or a rumble of thunder still not out of the question as we head towards early Sunday morning. All right, rainfall, a good amount on the way though between now and early Sunday and Monday morning. So between now and Monday morning, I should say, still some decent rainfall, but then as we head towards next week, even more rainfall on the way. So still though, good amount of rain on the way, maybe too much at once. So again, something that we'll need to watch. But in the meantime, for today, partly cloudy, there is a chance for thunderstorms with highs in the mid 70s and that west wind gusting up to about 30 miles per hour. Overnight, we have mid 50s for the overnight low, partly cloudy. There is a slight chance for rain and that west wind at about 20 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, we have upper 60s, partly cloudy, another chance for showers and thunderstorms and that northwest wind gusting to about 30 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast Sunday. It's Father's Day and the first day of summer. More showers and thunderstorms with highs in the mid 70s. The pattern stays active. Monday, we have more showers and thunderstorms, highs in the mid 70s. And Tuesday, the same, showers and thunderstorms, highs in the mid 70s.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
Here at Twin City Tire and Service, you will be working with industry professionals. We have ASE certified master technicians and certified tire and lube technicians. If we need your vehicle for a duration of time, we offer a complimentary shuttle service and can even offer a loaner vehicle. Being a client at Twin City Tire and Service means that we will treat you right. This includes a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on mechanical repairs. We also provide you with 1 year of complimentary roadside assistance. Come see us today at Twin City Tire and Service in Brewer.
Fathers play a special role in people's lives. And this Father's Day, ABC7 and Fox 22 want to help you show your dad how much he is appreciated with a special Father's Day giveaway. Register to win prizes for some great local businesses. Our special Father's Day promotion is brought to you by Hobie Ninja Steakhouse in Bangor, Muffler King Auto Sales in Newport, and the Old Town Redemption. All you have to do is go to our contest page on foxbangor.com and register to win.
Need a driveway paved or an entire road surfaced? Give Eaton Paving and Excavation a call. Eaton Paving offers a full line of excavation packages, from new home projects to new and replacement septics and driveways. We also install new shoreland and do shoreland repairs. Our operators have more than 75 years combined experience, and we have been delivering quality, professional service for nearly 3 decades. We strive to exceed your expectations. Give us a call today at 207-348-5630 or visit us at eatonpaving.com.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
You're watching ABC7 Bangor.
Just a day after signing a deal with Iran, President Trump is in the hot seat with both Democrats and Republicans. Many lawmakers are calling the deal a win for Iran. ABC's Karen Waz in Washington with the latest.
This morning, new questions about the future of the U.S.-Iran deal as Vice President Vance cancels a planned trip to Switzerland that was supposed to kick off more negotiations with Iran. Iran pressing the brakes on the meeting because of Israel's continued military actions in Lebanon. Tehran's lead negotiator now warning that America will face an even harder slap if it violates the emerging agreement. Back here in Washington, anger on both sides of the aisle. Republicans and Democrats alike believing the deal is a win for Iran.
Giving billions of dollars to theocratic lunatics who want to murder us is an exceptionally bad idea.
In the deal, Iran can now freely sell oil on the global market, which they could not do before the war. The U.S. also agrees to unfreeze about $24 billion in Iranian assets and help rebuild Iran's infrastructure to the tune of $300 billion.
Are my colleagues on the other side of the aisle prepared to send Iran $300 billion when economic needs are so severe here at home?
The most pressing issue, Iran's nuclear future, is kicked down the road to discuss in the next 60 days. Notably absent in the deal, Iran does not commit to destroying its highly enriched uranium, something Vice President J.D. Vance pushed back on when pressed by ABC's Mary Bruce.
Well, first of all, they've made very concrete nuclear commitments. They have committed to the destruction of the highly enriched stockpile that they have in their possession. But number two, all we've done is lift the blockade and the Straits of Hormuz. We basically returned it to where it was before the conflict.
What may further jeopardize the deal, overnight, Israel says it struck Hezbollah targets across Lebanon. Officials reporting at least 16 deaths. Iran has said an attack of this kind would violate the agreement with the U.S. Karen Hua, ABC News, Washington.
The Trump administration pitches a reduction in interest rates for federal student loans, aiming to help borrowers struggling with repayment. The Department of Education announced a temporary 1% reduction in loan interest rates on Thursday as part of a larger effort to make higher education more affordable. However, the change won't apply to all borrowers. According to the department, it will only affect those with direct loans issued after July 1st of 2012, who are already enrolled in automatic payments or sign up for them. Many borrowers won't see an immediate benefit And the department said that adding to the Qualify loans, borrowers have to take actions such as enrolling in auto pay and potentially consolidating their loans. Only 40% of borrowers are currently enrolled in those automatic payments, a figure the administration is looking to increase. Further, nearly 9 million borrowers are in default, meaning that they have missed 9 months of payments, and the department says that those individuals will need to get back in good standing in order to become eligible for the rate reduction. Officials say those enrolled in auto pay will be eligible for the 1% reduction beginning on July 1st, adding that the temporary rate will be available until June 30th of 2028. Well, new details involving the alleged plot to target the UFC event at the White House, with President Trump and thousands of others in attendance. ABC News has obtained body cam video showing deputies called to the home of the young suspect, the mother of the 19-year-old altering authorities. ABC's Sophie Flay with that story.
This morning, newly released body camera footage shows the moment police determined Tyson Proper, who has been charged in that alleged plot to attack a UFC event at the White House, should be taken to a mental health hospital.
Talking with your dad brought up some concerns, and I'd like for you to come with us.
Tyson's mom had called police after she saw him amass this cache of weapons, seen in photographs obtained by ABC News, including an AR-15 rifle, a shotgun, and hundreds of rounds of ammunition. Earlier, Mrs. Proper had made this call to police.
We don't even know what he's wanting to do. He's wanting to leave this weekend and go with a group of people to help, fight the corrupt government.
When police initially confront Proper about whether he's planning something violent, he denies it.
Have you had any thoughts of harming people or harming yourself? Nope.
But his mother is worried.
He said hit and run, and then he's like, you hit and run. I'm like, where are you going to be staying? He's like, different places. We're going to be moving around. He's like, it's a hit and run type of thing. I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound good.
Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
All eyes are on Chicago with the opening ceremony for the Obama Presidential Center. It was a celebrity-packed celebration for former President Obama. There were performances by Stevie Wonder, Bruce Springsteen, and many more. Former Presidents Clinton, Bush, and Biden were all in attendance, and former First Lady Michelle Obama brought her husband to tears with moving remarks.
You told me all those years ago that you couldn't promise me the world, but you could promise me an interesting life. And of course, you outdid yourself and managed to give me both.
The Obama Presidential Center opens to the public today. Tickets to get into the museum portion are sold out through November. Well, coming up on the second half of the newscast, Parody Shopping Center in Brewer has become Facebook famous for a funny employee video. This and more as Good Morning Maine continues.
The story stunned the nation. A young mother taken.
You're witnessing a kidnapping.
Now on a new 2020, the killer's shocking final words.
I don't think anybody was expecting what he had to say.
2020 tonight on ABC and stream on Disney Plus and Hulu.
Rennie's, a Maine adventure.
When you think of Maine, you think of lobster. If you think of lobster, think about Rennie's. There's lots of other snack items as well.
Can I get some more butter, please?
Thank you for shopping Rennie's.
Make your outdoor living space dreams come true with a little help from Granville Stone and Hearth. Granville can help you go from this to this. Outdoor fireplaces, custom outdoor kitchens, gorgeous stone patios, and more. You bring the dreams, we'll supply the materials to make it all real. Create your stunning outdoor oasis with help from the experts at Granville Stone and Hearth, Main Road, Holden.
When you work in disaster services, the phone rings at all hours. Knobscott Cleaning, can I help you? People appreciate hearing a real voice on the other end. Since 1976, that personal touch has set us apart. When disaster strikes, you just want your life back to normal. You want a reputable company, someone you can trust. We take care of things and give you peace of mind. I'm Jason Sear, owner of Penobscot Cleaning Services. 24/7, we're here for you.
Carhartt, clothing that works as hard as you do. We've got it. Miller's Workshop, for brands that work.
Don't miss the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Expo this weekend at the Cross Insurance Center. Browse the largest display of hot tubs, cold therapy tubs, swim spas, and saunas in the region, with over 50 spas at up to 50% off this weekend at the Cross Insurance Center. Visit hottubshow.com.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Now to the big party in New York, with an estimated 2 million fans flooding lower Manhattan for the Knicks' first NBA championship parade. The Sea of Orange and Blue stretching for blocks as the city celebrates a title 53 years in the making. Here's ABC's Hannah Battah.
This morning, New York City waking up still abuzz after a decades-long drought finally came to an end. An estimated 2 million fans packed Manhattan to celebrate the Knicks' first NBA championship in 53 years.
This is amazing, and to do it with our family. My son is serving in the Navy right now. His girlfriend saw it and ended up reaching out, seeing us. This is really like a once in a lifetime.
For a city that waited generations, it was personal.
Every immigrant kid, your first connection to New York City is the Knicks. Because you don't know anything, you don't know anybody, but you know the park and you know basketball. And when you know that, you learn to love the Knicks.
Fans who couldn't squeeze into viewing areas got creative, climbing on top of sanitation trucks, vans, and street scaffolding to glimpse their heroes. Fans even pushing past a barrier, sprinting to the parade route, hoping for a glimpse. Amid a massive deployment of more than 10,000 officers, police reported 13 arrests. Police even stopping guard Tyler Kolek in the crowd, appearing not to recognize him. But nothing dampened the spirits along the route. Head coach Mike Brown was even spotted jumping in to hug fans.
This championship is about you guys. This is New York City's championship.
At City Hall, the mayor handed out the keys to this city.
What a gift it is to be brought together by pure, unfiltered joy.
And Alicia Keys sent them off with her New York anthem. But the loudest roar belonged to Finals MVP Jalen Brunson.
Damn, New York, we really did it, man. We really did it. Wouldn't trade this for a world.
As for a repeat, odds makers aren't sold. San Antonio is still the favorite to win it all. Hannah Battah, ABC News, New York.
Now let's turn things right back over to meteorologist Evan Biggs.
Hey, Janessa, thank you very much. On this Friday, we have a small craft advisory that is up until Saturday at around 2 a.m. Continuing to watch for some active surf that will occur until around that time frame, as we have a low pressure center continuing to track off towards the north and east. Here's where we currently stand. So we do have some rain tracking off towards the north and east, that counterclockwise rotation. Continuing to send some rain across the northern parts of the state. We'll have some rain moving in our direction today. A few rumbles of thunder not out of the question. Let's zoom things out. There's that large area of low pressure right there. You can see the counterclockwise rotation right there that's tracking away from us. And again, that is going to send some rain and, yes, a few rumbles of thunder in our direction today. And Futurecast picking up on that. We may get a few breaks in the clouds today, but yes, a few pop-up thunderstorms possible. We'll keep the precipitation going for a while tonight, and notice through your Saturday, more rain showers and a few rumbles of thunder not out of the question. Gusty winds up to around 30 to 35 miles per hour today. We'll still keep the gusty winds going tonight, and even through parts of tomorrow, more gusty winds on the way. Your hourly forecast moving forward today, here we go. So again, we'll have clouds, opportunities for some showers and a few rumbles of thunder as temperatures warm into the 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Janessa?
Thank you, Devin. Well, a supermarket in Brewer hopped on a social media trend ahead of the release of Toy Story 5. Our Sam Miller with that story.
In anticipation of the theatrical release of Toy Story 5, employees of the Brewer Parody Shop and Save supermarket took to social media to have some fun. On Parody's Facebook page, they posted a video where someone off camera yells, "Andy's coming," and employees fall to the floor. The video is a parody of a running gag in the Toy Story franchise, where the toys fall to the ground and hold still to avoid being spotted by a human. Store manager Leanne Getchell says the video was a fun way to engage with the community.
We like to try to find different ways to connect with our customers online. I mean, if they see that we're posting just about food all the time, people probably scroll by. So we like to try to bring them back in just to let them know that, you know, we are here. We're real people. We like to have fun, and we get a lot of engagement from it.
The video has racked up 15,000 views since its posting, with comments praising the store for their sense of humor and wholesome content. Employee Cynthia Atwood says filming the video was like being in the movie itself, and she feels that they captured the spirit of the franchise, which was a childhood staple for people around the world.
Everybody was so happy after that. It was amazing. The whole atmosphere in here was lifted like 10%. It was amazing. It was so much fun.
Toy Story 5 arrives to theaters near you on Friday, June 19th. In Brewers, Sam Miller, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, before we move on, I just have to say I'm a frequent Parodies shopper, and the crew over there is absolutely amazing. Well, still to come here this morning, Max Sturm with sports. Don't go away.
Davis Brothers Furniture is expanding. At Davis Brothers, we've always strived to stand out from the rest, and we are now proud to offer flooring for your home, featuring both carpeting and luxury vinyl flooring. We even have an installer in-house with over 30 years of experience. Come see the reason people have been traveling from all over the state and beyond to Davis Brothers Furniture in Guilford for decades. Davis Brothers Furniture, deliberately different, delivering statewide.
On the Road, broadcasting the news at 6, live from Machias, is brought to you by Coastal Auto Parts, your local Napa Auto Parts dealer with 30 locations, owned and operated by a Maine family that cares. Rose Bike Shop is Orono's premier full-service bike shop, sales and service for all riders. Walls TV Appliances and Home Furniture, family-owned for 57 years, providing knowledgeable, friendly service. Where would your home be without Walls?
As a doctor in rural Maine, we're already seeing the impact. Susan Collins voted to support Donald Trump on the largest Medicaid cut in history. Healthcare is getting even more expensive. People are losing coverage. Our hospitals are closing, and the worst is yet to come. But Susan Collins gave Trump a blank check for his war in Iran. Billions of dollars that we could use here in Maine. We need to tell Susan Collins to stop siding with Donald Trump. We can't afford it.
Hey, Maine, think you're wicked smart? Well, put your knowledge to the test with me, Ken Jennings, on Jeopardy! Weeknights at 7:30 on ABC 7.
Welcome back in, folks. The Bangor Rams baseball team is back in the state championship game this weekend, and our Jack Webb caught up with the team ahead of their big day.
After that last pitch, going out to the mound, celebrating with everyone in that big huddle, it feeling like any other.
After 3 straight years of falling short in the Class A North title game, the Bangor Rams finally punched their ticket to a state championship on Tuesday.
For people that have been playing football and baseball, I mean, we've gone 0 for 5 and regional championships up that point. So to finally win one and progress on to the bigger stage, it's huge.
All of that early adversity paid off in this year's Class A North final when they found themselves down 2-1 early in the contest.
You come back, score 3 in 1 inning and then 1 later on. It was a great feeling.
I think they're just such a resilient group, too. You know, that's another unique thing about them.
The Bangor baseball program is one of the most storied in Maine, with 14 state championship banners hanging on the wall. Now that this era of Rams have gotten over the hump, they now have their chance to etch their own names into that history.
We've had a lot of teams before us come and, 4 in a row, 5 in a row, but we kind of just want to take one pitch at a time and kind of create our own legacy and hopefully get a banner up there.
Honestly, we go to the gym every day in school and we see all the banners hanging up on the wall and can only envision what it was like to be on those teams. It's great now to make our own mark and hopefully have our own banner up in the gym.
My grandfather played baseball here. My dad played baseball here. I mean, I got a whole lot of people in my family that were Bangor Rams, and so being able to, write my own page with the group of guys that I have now, I mean, it feels pretty cool.
He may give all the credit to the players, but a big part of the Rams' recent success is head coach Dave Morris, who's stepping down after 8 seasons at the helm. Moore says he just wants to soak up every moment from now until Saturday.
It's special. I mean, that's really, you want to get there, obviously, and, you enjoy these last few days, and I think that's something that we said to each other throughout this whole playoff run is, you sometimes lose focus because you really want to win the whole thing, but you got to enjoy where you're at.
The Rams will take on top-seeded Gorham from the South. They may be underdogs in this one, but that's just how they like it.
I think the love that we have for each other is the biggest thing, and then also the grit that we have. We come into practice every day and work our butts off, and it's awesome. We got the grittiest team in Maine, so being here, being aggressive, and attacking every pitch like it's our last pitch helps us get it done.
That game's at 1 p.m. on Saturday down in Augusta. From Bangor, Jack Webb, ABC7, Fox 22 Sports.
How special would it be if Coach Morris goes out on top? We wish Bangor the best of luck this weekend. Let's swing it over to Bucksport, where the Golden Bucks softball team is preparing for their chance to become back-to-back Class C state champions. For 4 consecutive years now, the Golden Bucks have advanced to the Class C state title game, earning the state championship banner in their 2025 campaign with a 6-2 victory over Halldale. Members of last year's team remember the feeling of finally getting over the hump and hoisting the trophy after having lost to Halldale in the past 2 seasons.
It was just crazy. It was like an amazing feeling. It was like all of our hard work for the past 3 years had finally paid off, and we had just finally proved ourselves.
It just was an unreal feeling, and to be the freshman starting on that team and to be able to play with all the girls I've grown up with, it was amazing.
Now this year's title game is a little bit different for the Golden Bucks. For the first time in 4 years, they will not face Halldale for the trophy. Instead, they will take on Dirigo, who put up an impressive 18-2 record this season.
I watched some film from their game against Monmouth that they had for the regionals, and I think they're a pretty good team. I mean, they'll put up a good fight, but I think if we come at it and just stay confident, I think we'll do good.
We haven't seen them before, but we've heard from other teams, and we know that we just need to do our thing. We need to hit good, and Marina will pitch good, and just keep doing what we've been doing. We'll be good.
Good luck to Bucksport this weekend as they try and make it 2 in a row. All right, folks, to the national level, we had some more World Cup action, so let's go ahead and get you brought up to speed on the latest games and scores. Taking a look here, we had Czechia, 1-1 tie over the Republic of South Africa. In FIFA Play Group, we had Switzerland with a 4-1 win over Bosnia, Canada with a 6-0 win over Qatar, and USA and Australia will play tomorrow, so we'll take a look at the United States. They are coming off of an impressive 4-1 victory over Paraguay and will now take on Australia on Friday at 3 p.m. in Seattle. At stake for the United States is a spot in the 32-team knockout round and the top spot in Group D. That's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Kirk Fisher is a motorcycle attorney with first responder experience. He protects fellow riders and those in danger, fighting fires and fighting for your rights. Experienced, determined, and dedicated. Iron Horse Motorcycle Lawyers. Look for motorcycles, or Kurt Fisher will be looking for you.
There are so many fun things to do in Maine. Now you can enjoy more for less. Check out half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
Looking for great food and hometown flavor? Riverside Grill is your favorite spot for juicy burgers, choices on seafood, and more. Fresh food served with a smile every day.
There's a limited supply available. It's on sale right now. Save with half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
You build more than projects. You build what communities rely on. When the job site runs on results, put Kubota to work. Backed by expert service and support from your local Kubota dealer. Right now, bring home select Kubota KX Series with 0% financing available or save up to $7,000.
Available at Doors Equipment, 1468 Outer Hammond Street, Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, beginning next Thursday, visitors to the nation's capital have even more of an opportunity to learn about Abraham Lincoln. They'll have access to a new museum located beneath the Lincoln Memorial. It features original documents signed by the 16th president and graffiti left by builders. The museum is opening following a decade of renovation that cost nearly $70 million, paid for by the National Park Foundation and private donors. It's opening just weeks before America celebrates the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
The importance of the memorial itself above the ground is well known, and it's over 100 years old. This has been here the entire time too. This is the part of the memorial and the dedication that reflects the sweat, equity of the people that did it, the innovation, the just sheer get it done in order to uplift what we see above the ground. I think it's very fitting that after 100 years, we pull that back on the 250th birthday so that we can remind ourselves of what it takes to do the things that we do, but also just celebrate the people that put this together, the ones that didn't have a name, that weren't celebrated, that aren't etched in stone anywhere. But you're going to be able to see some of their graffiti because they left their name a little bit some places.
Well, tickets to the memorial are free except for $1 service fee per reservation. Well, now here's meteorologist Devin Biggs with our full weather forecast.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. There's that small craft advisory again up until around Saturday at 2 a.m. Continuing to watch for some active surf that will be possible until around that time frame again at around 2 a.m. when this expires. Wave heights definitely active right now at around 4 to 6 feet according to the buoys, and it does span not only to the north and east from there, but also farther out towards sea at around 3 to 7 feet according to the buoys farther out towards sea. So definitely a mess out there farther out toward the ocean this morning. Water temperature is definitely getting stirred up in the 50s this morning, even 40s and 50s being noted. And of course, with the active surf, we're definitely stirring up the ocean at this moment in time. On land, we have that large area of low pressure that's causing some rainfall to occur. The lightning tracker is on, not seeing much lighting with this at this moment in time. We are going to get some more rain showers moving through today. It will be rather hit and miss in nature, but of course, some sunshine will be peeking out at times, a few showers, maybe a rumble of thunder today, rotating through with this large area low pressure that will be tracking off towards the north and east. We'll have some more showers and a few rumbles of thunder possible as we head towards tomorrow. Here's Futurecast right here. Again, some showers and a few rumbles of thunder today. Notice a few breaks in the clouds. We'll see a lot of the activity start to taper off temporarily overnight. Still a few showers and a rumble of thunder here or there, not out of the question tonight. The precipitation picks up again as we head towards your Saturday, so another dreary day, but by Saturday night we'll catch a little bit of a break, but again, a hit and miss shower or a rumble of thunder still not out of the question as we head towards early Sunday morning. All right, rainfall, a good amount on the way though between now and early Sunday and Monday morning. So between now and Monday morning, I should say, still some decent rainfall, but then as we head towards next week, even more rainfall on the way. So still though, good amount of rain on the way, maybe too much at once. So again, something that we'll need to watch. But in the meantime, for today, partly cloudy, there is a chance for thunderstorms with highs in the mid 70s and that west wind gusting up to about 30 miles per hour. Overnight, we have mid 50s for the overnight low, partly cloudy. There is a slight chance for rain and that west wind at about 20 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, we have upper 60s, partly cloudy, another chance for showers and thunderstorms, and that northwest wind gusting to about 30 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast Sunday. It's Father's Day and the first day of summer. More showers and thunderstorms with highs in the mid 70s. The pattern stays active. Monday, we have more showers and thunderstorms, highs in the mid 70s. And Tuesday, the same, showers and thunderstorms, highs in the mid 70s.
Graham Plattner called rural Maine stupid and racist.
You're calling me stupid and racist?
Who says something like that?
Plattner said cops are bastards, all of them. Graham Plattner has no respect for law enforcement.
Graham Plattner said some lobstermen are absolutely terrible people.
Graham Plattner, you got it absolutely wrong.
It disgusts me.
Graham Plattner would be a big embarrassment for me.
I would never vote for Graham Plattner.
Graham Plattner? No way.
Pine Tree Results PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Are you in need of remodeling your bathroom? Want to convert your tub into a safe walk-in shower? Call the experts at Bangor Bathrooms by Design now. They offer complete bathroom remodels, and from start to finish, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call them now and save thousands. 659-6457. Enjoy that brand new bathroom you've always wanted from Bangor Bathrooms by Design. Transforming bathrooms, elevating lives.
Still getting glitched by cable internet? Enough already. Fidium is 100% fiber internet. Ultra reliable, lightning fast. So everything you do online works exactly like it should.
Zach, go to bed.
Fiber up to Fidium. Get plans starting at only $30 a month at fidiumfiber.com.
Don't miss the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Expo this weekend at the Cross Insurance Center. Browse the largest display of hot tubs, cold therapy tubs, swim spas, and saunas in the region, with over 50 spas at up to 50% off this weekend at the Cross Insurance Center. Visit hottubshow.com.
Are y'all with us tonight?
It's CMA Fest with rockin' collaborations. Russell Dickerson featuring Fetty Wap, Gretchen Wilson featuring Ella Langley, Cody Johnson featuring Brothers Osborne, and more.
CMA Fest!
Presented by SoFi. Thursday on ABC.
Owners and servers at bars in Boston say that the city is experiencing a shortage of a particular Scottish beer as fans from Scotland swarm the city for the World Cup. Tennent's Lager is what bar and pub owners are saying they cannot get enough of. Sam LeBlanc, manager of Sam Adams Downtown Boston Taproom, describes the Scottish fans as enthusiastic, generous, appreciative, and thirsty. He says the solution to this beer shortage problem is to simply keep ordering it in. With the Scottish fans happy, they say that they are also happy as well. Well, Father's Day is almost here, and one nonprofit says cat dads should also get some recognition. The Arizona Humane Society is celebrating the rise of cat dads this weekend in an effort to help get more furry felines adopted. According to data from UK-based cat charity Cats Protection, the feline ownership gender gap has narrowed, with 23% of men now owning a cat compared to 24% of women. Further, the Arizona Humane Society said 32% of all cats adopted by the organization last year went to men. A study increased from just about 28% before the decade before. More men are learning that the unique bond that cats can offer, the organization says, as well as that the health benefits to cat ownership, such as reduced stress, lower blood pressure, and emotional support. But even if you're more interested in a man's best friend, the Humane Society encourages all potential pet parents to consider expanding their family this holiday weekend by adopting or fostering a pet from their local shelter. Well, that's all the time that we have left for this hour, but you can join us for the second hour of Good Morning Maine. That's next on Fox 22. Have a great day, everyone.
I got hurt by a big truck. Why did I call the twos? Because life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money, and I'll fight to get it for you. We got a client who broke multiple bones in a commercial vehicle accident, $700,000. Another client had a brain injury, and we got them $1.15 million. If you get hurt by a big truck, call the twos. We win for you.
Hurt by a big truck? Call the twos. We win for you.
Driving is what drives me. The road, it's always felt like home. Out here, I can chase the rush, feel the adrenaline, live the joy of the track. But when the day winds down, it's back to real life, back to the daily drive. That's why I choose AAA Auto Insurance. With AAA on board, I earn discounts for driving responsibly. So I know wherever the road leads, AAA is by my side.
Fathers play a special role in people's lives. And this Father's Day, ABC7 and Fox 22 want to help you show your dad how much he is appreciated with a special Father's Day giveaway. Register to win prizes for some great local businesses. Our special Father's Day promotion is brought to you by Hobie Ninja Steakhouse in Bangor, Muffler King Auto Sales in Newport, and the Old Town Redemption. All you have to do is go to our contest page on foxbangor.com and register to win.
When disaster strikes, who do you call? Penobscot Cleaning Services. For smoke and fire damage, water and storm damage, and even nasty mold. Who do you call? Penobscot Cleaning Services. For the cleanest carpets, guaranteed. Who do you call? Penobscot Cleaning Services. From cleanup to restoration and everything in between.
Wow.
Tell your insurance company you want Penobscot Cleaning Services. Visit our website for more info. We'll restore things to normal in no time.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Good morning, America. New threat to the Iran deal.
The Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello, everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, the ranked choice voting tabulation process is officially over. We'll see the results very soon for CD2 and the governor's race. Plus, some changes could be coming to Bar Harbor's business landscape. We'll have the details coming up. And the Maine State Moose Lottery is tomorrow. We'll explain how that process works and how you can put in a tag for it. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop. Thank you for tuning in this morning. We'll have those stories and much more coming up, including some recent court cases as well. For the weather today, you'll see some sunny skies with a bit of a chance of rain. Let's start off this morning by getting a first check of our forecast. Devin Biggs joins us now.
Hey, Janessa, thank you very much. On this Friday, we have a small craft